Check. Check. I'm ready. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pastor Dan Walker, and welcome to Sound Travels. I am so privileged to pastor the New Bethel Baptist Church in Framingham, Massachusetts, where God is doing amazing things. Oh, my goodness. First of all, a little bit of housekeeping. Ask you to keep Bishop Hamby in prayer. He's, shall we say, under the weather this morning, so he will not be joining us. But we are going to soldier on. We're going to carry on, and we'll see how we do. This should be okay. In the meantime, I think we have a caller. Do we have a caller on the air?
Oh, I don't know. It beats being a yeller.
Well, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Sound Travels is pleased to present to some and introduce to others my brother from another mother. He's the only living twin I have, and he's whiter than Casper's ghost, Brother Dan Vale.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you doing today there, Pastor Dan?
I'm doing well. Hang on one second. Do you see a button that says aux out 2 on the board? It's going to be over towards the other. It's going to be over towards that. Yeah. Aux out 2. If you see it, turn it up. Let's see what happens. All right. While she's looking for that, where are you this morning?
Well,
see, when you start off with at that, it's right there where I start looking for how much money I got for bail.
Well, after last week's festivities, I said, you know what? I want to make an effort to try and
find it. No.
And
it's okay.
See things from the other guy's point of view. So I came down here to South Jersey, and I just passed Trenton, and I'm on my way to Metro Philadelphia. I don't know if it was a good idea or not.
So you're in Trenton. So you're in Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm just passing through on my way down to Swedesboro, which is just across the bridge from Philadelphia.
Well, okay, that's an amazing place to be.
It sure is.
The next question I have for you is, so you basically don't need any bail money, is what I'm hearing.
No, not yet, not yet.
Uh-huh.
But it is only 7 a.m.
Okay. And you're right. It's only 7 a.m., so it's still possibility. There's still time for you to do something incredibly stupid.
That's right.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning.
Oh, there she is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Sound Travels is pleased to present to some and introduce to others the heart of Sound Travels, nearer, my God, to thee. It's Chaplain Nera.
Hello.
Good morning, Nera.
Hello.
Morning.
How do you do?
Oh, boy. Do you mind if I do my job? Oh, my goodness.
I thought you might need some help there. I'm just trying to be helpful.
Yes, I can see that. All right.
I am well. I feel extremely exhausted. It's been a very busy busy 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
I don't feel like I've had any chance of a break, so I'm very exhausted, but I am good.
And the bearded one?
He is also well. He actually just ran to go grab my coffee for me.
Well, shout out to the bearded one.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. He just walked right back.
He walked right back in. Okay, cool. So we're Sans Bishop this morning. He's not feeling well, so we like to keep him in prayer. We got a whole bunch of folk to keep in prayer. We want to keep in prayer Solomon Jr. He's in the hospital now, about to undergo a rather major surgery in I think, I don't know if it's Cleveland or wherever it is, but he's one of my nephews, and keep my brother in prayer. He's back in the hospital. And just the enemy is just coming after the Lipford family with everything it's got. But the enemy is a defeated enemy, so he's not going to win. But it doesn't mean he's not going to try to place or show. So,
Right.
you know. So,
Good morning to Miss Linda this morning.
Oh, you finally got it in. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I get sick of trying to bail you out every week, you know.
I know. I'm not worried about the police. I'm worried about her.
That was how I drove a whole year like that. I drove from 14 to 15. I wasn't worried about the police at all, but the father sitting next to me, that was they say immediate or imminent danger. So I was really good. And he never, ever, probably to his last breath, liked the way I took corners. He always said I take corners too fast and I'm driving over in all the mess. He said, get off the line towards the, when you're driving on the road, drive in the middle of the road, as he would say it. Drive in the middle of your lane. Get off that line. Because I'm
sure he'd have been satisfied with just having all four tires on the ground.
Well, yes, that's true. But, when you got a 394 barrel positive traction dual exhaust, capable at that time, if I'm not mistaken, of around 300 and some odd horsepower as a first car, you're going to develop
My first car was a granny car.
Well, I maintain this is how this happened. This gentleman liked cars, knew what to order, but had got married, had a wife and kids, and his wife said, we need a station wagon for all these kids. Because this was a Ford Country Squire wagon, white with the red interior or brown interior, right? Yeah, white with the Squire wood on the side and the whole bit.
Yeah.
Absolute boat. Absolute aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And the biggest engine Ford.
Chase Vacation.
Oh, yes. The biggest engine Ford ever made. I had to be careful while driving it because sometimes planes would try to land on it. I mean, this thing was huge.
Front plate and the back plate were in two different states.
Yes, absolutely. And it had drum brakes in the front, which.
Goodness.
Yeah, well, I wore them down so much. It was my first car, and I didn't change I ignored the scrubbing so much that I actually cut. By the time I went to change the front brakes, it was just a band wrapped around the pads because the metal had gotten so thin that it was actually holding the brake shoes, but there was no connection to the wheel. It had just became a band. Well, when it's your first car, you do stupid stuff. That's all I can tell you. I'm not even.
See, I got beat too much if I did stupid stuff, so I wasn't allowed to do stupid stuff.
Well.
I didn't do that till I, moved away from my parents.
Right. Well, just for the record, getting beat is part of the process. So it's the cost of doing business, shall we say? So
my first car was a almost brand new German sports car.
How did you fit in a German sports car?
Well, I was a little lighter than I am now.
But you were always 6'3".
I was born 6'3".
There you go.
I was, but I was a little more agile then, and I was only 14.
He still had the good knees.
Yeah. but yeah, it was probably I was driving that one all around for probably 2 years before my father realized he wasn't getting the fuel mileage that he thought he should be out of it, and I got busted.
Okay. Y'all talk amongst yourself for a second. I'm going to go off headphones.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No,
So,
Dan, my first car, you. So I actually ended up having a Buick LeSabre, and it was,
my favorite.
and it had been a one owner. Previously, it was an older woman. She had passed away. She'd lost her license several years before, so it had just been sitting in her garage, being upkept nicely, all that sort of stuff. Nice garage car, low miles, but it was older by the time I bought it. And it, obviously when she had passed, it had gone to, a sale, and the used car lot had bought it, and it was the same one that my brother had bought his first car from. And he was a good guy, close friend of the family, and he's like, hey, I have this car. I think it'd be a perfect first car. It's got low miles, good gas mileage. And I ended up, and I originally wanted like a small pickup. But I was like, this car, it fits the bill, it fits my price, let's go for it. And I ended up getting it, and it was so funny. The first thing I did with it was the first Sunday night at youth group that I had my car. A dear friend of mine that I've known since I was 2, he had bought his first car. Well, his parents had helped him buy his first car. So he bought a Mustang. I had a granny car, and it was like that champagne color, too, so it was like the ultimate granny car.
Nice.
And we were sitting there, and he's like revving the engine. We're sitting at a stoplight because we always would unintentionally race to the place where we were going to eat dinner after youth group. And he was like, hey, last one there buys, my dinner or whatever, being just a dork. Yep. And I ended up beating him in a quarter-mile race because I knew how my car worked, and he did not know how his car worked. And,
interesting.
I have never let him live it down to this day.
Well, you shouldn't.
15 years.
You shouldn't.
And I beat him in a Buick, and he had a Mustang.
There you go.
And his was like that electric green, too.
Oh, God. To this day, green is not my favorite color car. It's the least favorite of all the colors of cars I've ever owned, green. And I've had, so far, 2 green vehicles. My 67, 69 Pontiac Catalina wagon.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was the boat. That had the 440 in it, 4-barrel.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
passed everything except the gas station.
Yes. And the carburetor would leak. Was the float on the carburetor would stick sometimes, so you have to be very careful because if it floods out, you get all that gas on the engine block, and you have a nice little fire going on there. So then I had a 2001 Mercury Sable wagon. I got it from a guy who said the transmission was gone because it overheated and puked transmission fluid out, so he assumed it was bad. So he said, well, it's good. You can have it. Basically, it's going to need a transmission. And, I said, fine, I don't care about that. And I took the car and filled it back up with transmission fluid and drove it for 2 years. And one of the guys at the job, he had a Mustang, and he was, roaming around like King Doodoo. And so we're in the parking lot. We worked at this place out in the middle in Canton, and so that we had a nice long parking lot. So I lined up next to him, and he was like, and the guy, waved, and we took off, and I stomped him. And he does, to this day, he doesn't know how I did it. But like you said, he didn't know his car, and I've learned to bring the RPMs up to around 1,500 and dump it.
Yep.
I turned the traction control off. So I didn't have
Yeah.
to worry about that. And I left
I think
him.
my first legit vehicle was a '59 Chevy Apache stepside,
Oh,
the cameo
Yeah.
rear, the curved rear window,
yeah.
and but it had a 283 with a 4-barrel Holly on it out of a Corvette with the 4-in-the-floor hearse shift.
Ooh, yeah.
And, so I was a hot dog there for a while. That's still probably one of my favorite ones. You didn't even need a key. You just grabbed the whole ignition switch and just gave it a twist, and
There you go.
you didn't even have to put a key in it. You know.
Yeah, I'm from that era.
Under the seat.
Yeah, I'm from that era too. When I asked my friend for the key to his car, he handed me the screwdriver. So, so
We had an old Bronco that did that.
Yeah, been there, done that. You know.
Yeah. So, where are we going today, guys?
Well, we're going into the healing section today because
Okay.
last week I think we got it all out. I think the I don't want to say the vitriol, I'll say the passion, because
Yep.
we pretty much got into to where the issues are. A lot of it has to do with upbringing, with understanding of the upbringing. And it's just a situation where we are never going to agree fundamentally on certain things, because I am never going to be a Caucasian lady. It's not going to happen. I'm never going to be a Canadian guy. You're never going to be a African American from Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
There are just some things that we are going to see differently without even noticing that. And I think we discovered that last week. There are some things that you're never going to understand about my experience. You will have similar. I remember there was an organization in Framingham that wanted to use my church for their race, their brotherhood meeting. And I said, sure. And they said, well, would you speak? And I said, about race relations? And they said, yes. And I said, absolutely. Spoiler alert, I was never invited back, and they held it someplace else the next year. And I think it had to do with my opening statement, which was, first of all, I looked around the room, and the room was about, I want to say, 80-20 Caucasian. So that's raw meat to a hungry Dan. So I said, before we begin, let me ask you a question, all of you. I want to know, at 6 years old was the first time because I became aware of my existence at 5. At 6 years old, I was called the N-word by a little white boy. Does anybody in this room have an experience that was as traumatic as that? Was like that? And nobody put their hand up.
Yeah.
And I said,
this is 80% white people.
huh?
It's 80% white people.
Yeah. And what'd you say, Nira?
I said, well, talk over.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I said, how can I possibly explain race relations to you if you don't understand, if none of you have had it? And then I went on to say, listen, you have to understand, I'm not saying that you were called a word. I'm saying any experience that was as traumatic as that was for me. How many of you have been through something like that and you couldn't even conceive of anything you've been through in your life being that bad. How are we going to have a conversation about race relations when you're not willing to look at your experiences and see which one is the worst that you can draw from in terms of how you're going to have empathy?
Yep.
Silence. Dead pin silence. And like I said, I was never invited back. Now I did go on to talk with them, but the issue is three of us have been through something so traumatic that even if it's not what I've been through, you can say, listen,
understand the trauma.
Yeah, I've had my face smacked too. I've been punched too. I've been attacked. I've been bullied. I've been all of this as well. So I cannot say I get your pain. I can tell you that I have pain too. And if you're not willing to be open and honest with me about your pain, how do you expect me to share with you anything that's going to make sense to you? Because I know you're 80% of, I said, I know everybody sitting in here has been through something traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
It's what happens in life. You came home and the wrong person was in your house. You came home and nothing was in your house.
Yeah.
Your dog died, your pickup won't start, and your boss is trying to fire you. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Country songs exist for a reason.
That's right.
Yes, they do.
That's right.
But if you're not willing to be open and honest with me about your experiences, how are you going to understand mine?
Yeah.
And like I said, crickets.
Yeah.
Because it is difficult for us to want to accept the fact that we're going to have problems. We're going to have issues. There's going to be pain in our lives. And yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we don't like admitting it, but every single person knows it's true. It's just one of those things that we don't feel like we have to admit because we almost feel like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy if we do.
Yes, but listen, none of us...
Doesn't make it any less true.
Right. None of us want to go to the gas station. There's no reason to go to, how many of us want to own a hammer? I had someone explain this to me. Dan, nobody wants to own a hammer. But
unless you're a Viking.
Why not?
But unless you're a Viking or Thor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like hammers.
I like hammers.
Yes, but you don't want to own a hammer unless you have a nail. See,
But I'd rather be a hammer than a nail.
well, sometime you the windshield and sometime you the bug. I mean,
That's right.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So if we're going to be truly open and honest about this whole race relations thing, we have to start from the fact that every last one of us has faced pain, trauma, the best upbringing, the mother and the father in the same house, the enough money, never having missed meal cramps, never having to figure out where how your aunt is getting food for you for the next day. All right. When I spent a whole summer living with one of my aunts, and I was coming from a stable, quote unquote, environment, albeit very traumatic, but stable. Meals every day, nice warm place to sleep. I had responsibilities. I had to wash the dishes, but there was always dishes to wash. There was always food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I spent the summer with my aunt in, shall we say, less than perfect conditions. We didn't always have breakfast. There was not always food in the house. Sometimes we got fed when my aunt's shall we say, boyfriend brought her home. And, and I know the conversation now because I'm an adult. Before we get to the house, we got to stop by McDonald's and bring some food home to the kids. Yeah, and his response, yo, show, baby. Yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the house,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't understand any of that because you're a kid. And you're not supposed to figure it out until later in life when you realize the sacrifice that this lady was making on your behalf.
Yep.
You see, and you point you stick your nose in the air and say, well, she was immoral. She was this, that, and the other. Put some names on her. And no. How dare you?
She made sacrifices.
She made sacrifices.
Yeah.
And knowing what I know now, it was a very personal sacrifice.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a very personal sacrifice. And I don't think a man could, and Nira, you got to help me with this. I don't think any man can truly understand that level of sacrifice.
No. I would say I've met a few people who could understand it maybe 80%, but never more.
A few people, a few men?
Yeah.
Okay.
We would canonize a woman who laid her life down for her kids. She jumped in front of a speeding truck to rescue her kid. We'd say, wow, that was an amazing mother. That's an amazing woman, and blah, 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 blah. But if she laid down her dignity to provide for that same kid and
literally
survived, yeah, we're gonna castigate her for that. I can't throw that first rock.
Well, but the church does.
Church does every day.
Yeah, the church does.
every day.
Oh.
Yeah, the church
And
throws.
it's it's a permanent, repeating sentence because when it. Listen, if I walked into a church today and I said, "Hey, I hope you can accept me. I just got out of prison. I killed somebody." They say, "Welcome to God's house, brother. Have a seat right here." If I robbed a bank, if I stole it, but if I am caught in any kind of sexual sin, it's a permanent lifetime ban, and it's worse if it's a woman. If a woman had fallen to addiction or something like that, or for whatever reason had gotten caught in an act of immorality, the women of most churches would circle the wagons to make sure she never felt welcome, and that's a travesty.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
now, and when we look at the scripture, when we look at this very same thing, where the woman is caught in the very act of adultery, and they bring the woman. Now, I have maintained that if she's there by herself, they did not catch her in the act of adultery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, by yourself has a whole different title.
That's right.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
It's not adultery, just so you know.
Yeah.
So why wasn't the man brought?
Uh-huh.
Okay? Why wasn't
In those days, I think culturally, adultery was almost exclusively something that was that they looked at women for.
Yeah, pinned on the woman.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't.
Because we were the ones with
they,
the braided hair.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, but also there was the whole focus on we have to keep the Jewish race pure.
Well,
and
there was several things having to do with that. Yes, I mean, that's a very good point. But what we're talking about here is trying to heal as a nation when our experiences are so different. Okay? We talked about the fact that I can't trace my lineage past Cleveland, Ohio, maybe to Kentucky, where Louisville, Kentucky, where my father was born. And he was not born in Louisville, Kentucky. But Louisville, Kentucky was the county seat. You see?
Yep.
He was born at some farm somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's the county seat. So when you come in to register the birth, you get registered as a resident of Louisville. Louisville didn't want nothing to do with you. But it's the county seat. That's why a baby's birth written in the Bible is considered proof of an actual date of birth.
Yep.
Because back then, that's how the births of, I don't want to say minority children, but most children, there was a Bible in the house and the baby's birth was recorded in it. I don't know what page, I don't know where front or back, but that's how. So when you went to the county seat, you took the Bible.
Yep.
And you'd show the clerk, okay, this is the name, this is the birth, and the clerk would record it as such, but the county seat where you did that would be considered its birthplace.
Yep.
Right.
You see, how do we understand that? How do we deal with that? We just lost Jesse Jackson. He passed, he went home. I am not given to speaking ill of the dead. Whatever it was, whatever he did, he's at home, he's at peace, he has received his reward. And that's got to be good enough for him, because it's got to be good enough for me and you. When we die, whatever it was, it's no longer. So, to me, okay. I was listening to when Dr. Martin Luther King passed, his speeches were everywhere. They were being broadcast 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
But not so much with Ralph Abernathy. I haven't heard but one clip of one speech from Jesse. When Malcolm X passed, his speeches were everywhere. What passed was assassinated. His speeches were everywhere. And I'll just let that stand for what it is. It is what it is. When I'm gone, I don't know if Sound Travels will be continued. Maybe somebody will pick up the mantle. Maybe Dan will become Sound Travels Part 2. I don't know. So while we
travel, he do.
Pardon?
I said, and travel he do.
And travel he do, exactly. You know, he could literally be traveling. Sound Travels, yes.
Yeah.
So how do we heal? How do we heal? How do we I've had this discussion over the course of the past couple of weeks concerning love. And its conditional or unconditional nature. And that's an issue for me. So my wife, in her eminent beauty, and I have to say happy birthday to the lovely and talented Vernice Elizabeth Jones McCoy Walker.
Happy birthday.
Today is her birthday, and as near as I can tell, we're going to have barbecue tonight for dinner.
Woo-hoo. Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
we're going to go to I'm going to go, before I pick her up, I'm going to go to Wilmington. There's a barbecue place in Wilmington that I think we've had and it was quite good. So I'm going to go pick up barbecue and bring it home. So when we get home, we're going to chomp a bone or two.
Uh-huh.
And she likes pulled pork, although I have no idea why. But she likes pulled pork, and I like ribs. So we'll be happy. We
There you go.
went out last night as a pre-birthday celebration to hear a group that she likes. And I went to get the check, and she said, well, aren't you getting the check for tomorrow? And I went, yeah, but this is probably going to be cheaper. She snatched it. Yeah, she snatched it. So, yeah, I'm getting the check for tonight, and I know it's not going to be $40. I already know that. But, the sacrifices we husbands have to make. Oh.
Oh, yes. You're so grieved.
Oh, my goodness. It's just...
Make that sacrifice for the woman that you absolutely adore.
Absolutely. And we don't want to just do it in silence, obviously, as you can see. I want to be lauded and approved and just loved on.
Oh, you're such a good husband.
Yes, there you go. Stop. Keep it coming. Stop. Absolutely. So... how do we understand the sacrifice? See, people say, I don't see color. That's a lie. You do see color. Because if you don't see color, you're not looking at me.
Yeah.
And I want you to look at me. I want you to understand who I am, where I'm from. Now, when you see my color... now I have to deal with your perception of my color.
Mm-hmm.
When I see your color, I have to deal with the perception of your color. And you're either going to confirm or you're going to deny everything I was told about you.
Yep.
Yes.
So when I... go ahead.
We have to be understanding... you can't turn the news on without seeing our law enforcement personnel being castigated for this, that, and the other thing. You have to understand, no matter what color or background they are, every day they go punch their time clock to start their shift, and more often than not, they're getting called to these same places, the same apartment complexes, to deal with the same characters every night, every day. So does it make them bad people for being able to predict when they leave home, honey, I'll see you when I get done, depending on how things are going at such and such a location in town, such and such a neighborhood, dealing with such and such a group of people?
It's a very good question because I'm looking back at my experiences with law enforcement, which started when I started driving. Surprise, surprise.
Yep.
Okay. When the cop pulled up behind me after I had stopped to help somebody who was broke down, and the cop said, the police officer said, you're coming to help him. And I went, yes, sir.
Yep.
He said, slow down. I said, how fast? He said, 113.
Whoa. Whoa.
All I know is that my speedometer,
whoa.
my speedometer was bouncing off the 120 mark. So look. Hey, 394 barrel, man.
Oh.
Yep.
But
to begin the entire situation, we have to first of all admit just how bad it is, and we have to listen to those telling us and believe them and take them at their word. And we struggle with that as human beings anyway. But realistically, if I go to someone and I tell them how bad my situation is, they either they have one of two choices. They can either believe me and take me at my word or not. And to begin to start healing, we have to admit how bad the problem is. If I go to my doctor and say, hey, I have these symptoms, I have this going on, and they don't take me seriously, and I die of cancer 6 months later, then that's a problem. That's exactly what's going on in our country and in our world is we have a fast-moving cancer moving through our societies, and not a single person who can do something about it wants to admit it, and those who are admitting it are not believed. And until we recognize it for what it is, you can't make it better.
But I wish I could say the church is different.
But the church is worse.
But the church is worse.
Yeah.
The church is...
There's a reason why pagans...
stereotypically worse.
Yeah.
We have whitewashed tombs.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
We have so many people who look good on the outside, and the worst 4-letter word known to man started in the church, and it's fine. I'm fine. No, you're not. Shut up. And until we get to that... okay, so this is the whole thing on Sunday. So my church, literally our Sunday morning message was our pastor talking about the anger and the rage that currently not only that he's dealing with, but that many in the church are dealing with because of the outcry of the lack of justice going on right now, currently with the, let's just say, the files that have been released lately, the outcry of rage that is going on. And there are so many people, and I kind of love this trend right now, there are so many people who are looking at the Old Testament and sitting there going, maybe God wasn't overreacting. When he destroyed all those people groups and things, they're like, maybe God was underreacting. And they're kind of like, I get it now. Because of all these things going on, the rage and the anger and the absolute disgusting nature of so many people in power and just so many people in general. And the outcry, but the fact that there is no justice going on, and just the fact that it got this bad, and the people who were telling you that it was this bad were not believed. And so now there's this gaping wound within our society and within the churches, and nobody wants to be the first one to do anything about it because they know it will be such a nuclear weapon that ends up happening, basically, of this outcry. If we let it bubble over, then, we're not godly, good Christian people. So we decide to just shove it down.
We're not godly, good Christian people. What the heck does that mean?
Well, we like to look like it. We like to look like it because we don't want to be the one to get angry.
I think what is happening with the revelation of all these files is that people are gazing into the abyss and seeing, oh my word, I cannot believe the horror that these people were doing. And who are you going to go to for justice for those children?
There is no justice for the children. I'm sorry. I don't want to. I do not want to sound like some kook or some. There is no justice for a 5-year-old girl whose father is mistreated, is abusing her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There is nothing that can be done to that man that's going to take the scar of what he did.
Yeah, right. And the
boy, girl,
the ones who lost their lives in that situation almost had a more merciful ending, because the thing about it is, you can So I've actually heard this argument and had this discussion recently about Sodom and Gomorrah. And someone asked why God would destroy even the children in Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, God destroyed everyone. The angels destroyed everything. All of it gone.
Yep.
And they were like, but what about the children? What about, they were innocent.
No.
And it's like, okay, let's take for a moment. Let's just say for a moment. Children before a certain age are innocent, whatever age you want to say, okay, you know, whatever that argument is. The children in this situation are innocent. But here's the thing. If you took away, in Sodom and Gomorrah, if you took away every adult, every person, everything, and you only left the children, those children would then have died a slow and painful starving death because they could not care for themselves. So now you've just relegated them to an even worse, long, slow death of life. In this situation, there is no therapy, there is no medication, there is no anything that you can do to erase what has been done to them, and they will suffer for the rest of their lives. And very likely, if they go to have children, their children will also suffer.
And add to that, whether we like it or not.
Uh-huh.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yep. And now you have an entire generation of people who have been harmed by someone who now will have the choice to either do it themselves or to go in a completely different direction, and they're on their own because they have no idea what healthy looks like, and they will simply choose a different form of harm.
And the church is supposed to be there saying, our God is merciful, our God is awesome, our God is great. And the person looks at you and says, where was your God when certain priests were doing what they did?
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want to hear about your God. At least my God is honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
we don't need the platitudes. We don't, that's actually where I was going with it, because I forgot. But on Sunday, when we were talking about all of this, the thing that God laid on me, which, again, we've talked about prophecy, we've talked about all this, but God was like, you need to say this. And I'm like, okay, I'll say it. But the thing is, we don't need people who sit there and give us these platitudes and these Bible verses to make it all better, because we don't want to deal with the ick and the gross of what you're going through, because that might make us dirty, and it might make us sad, or it might make us mad. We don't want to deal with it. So
let me add real quick. Let me add something real quick. It might make us dirty, sad, or turned on.
Uh-huh. Now, we don't want to admit that either.
No.
But we have to be brutally honest before we can give those feelings and emotions and our past, before we can give them to God the way that we are supposed to, and to cast all our cares on Him and to give those things to Him. We have to be brutally honest with the suck.
Yeah,
we don't like admitting how cruel we ourselves can be.
So we only have 4 minutes left. We'll be back on the second half in a bit. But do you understand how the church has really monumentally blown it?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
There's just no other way to put it.
Everyone in this room has been on the brunt end of that.
Yeah, we've all listen. The bar is more honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The bar, as an organization, as an establishment, is way more honest.
Oh, yeah.
You come in.
A bartender's a better pastor than most.
A bartender was a way better pastor than most, and all he's doing is helping you destroy yourself and making money in the process. And when you're out of money, you're out of the bar. What did Tater say? I wasn't drunk in public. I was drunk in a bar. They threw me into public. That's right. I didn't know how many it would take for them to whoop my behind, but I saw how many they were prepared to use.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a very valuable piece of information.
That's exactly what he said, which is a very valuable piece of information. So
Yeah.
it's about time that we are not drunk in public. It's about time when we're drunk in the spirit in the church for real. So when we go into public, people see the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
People are absolutely amazed when we show the least bit of kindness to strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing this? What do you
The
mean?
bar
Why?
is on the floor.
Yeah. Why? What do you mean? Why am I? I'm doing it because it has to get done. And I say, well, isn't that how we're supposed to be? And they always tell me the same thing. I do it all the time. No, you don't. Because if you did it all the time, you'd recognize what's happening now. And you don't. 2 minutes. We'll be back on the other side with more conversation. Is Pastor Ted available, you think? Is he around? Oh, that's what I want to say. Can you give your sister a call, Dan, and see if she'll call in this morning? She sent me a very long and very touching treatise, and I wanted to have her call in. Can you do that?
Okay. Let me see what I can do.
See what you can do. And hi, Miss Linda. I know you're sitting in the background listening.
Yeah, she is. She is. She's a very faithful listener. And damn fine lady too, if I don't mind saying so myself.
Well, you better say so. If you don't say so, her neighbor will.
You might get in trouble if you don't.
Hey, look, you show me a husband that won't. I'll show you a neighbor that will.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
That's
That's right.
Hello. Hey, we real when we